Choosing yourself is an act of rebellion in a society built on self-sacrifice. Let's talk about it. So let's talk about the world that we live in today. We live in a patriarchal society that operates in a way that rewards behavior that benefits the system. And the foundation of this system is pain, suffering. Think about colonialism, think about war, which very present in the life that we're in today in 2026. We live in a world where it values competition and hierarchy. Who's above who? If you're not up to the status quo, then you are less than. And if you're less than, then you are not valued as a human being sometimes. Like, there are some people who are categorized to be less of a human being than other people, which is crazy to think because we're all the same at the end of the day. This system was built on the foundation of I'm gonna take from you because that's gonna benefit me further. As long as you're moving upwards in society, even if it's in a corrupt way, then it's fine, right? And I feel like that mindset is reflected back to us in the types of jobs that we have or the type of jobs that we strive for in order to feel successful. And not only that, in order to even survive in this world. The price of living right now is so high that people need to overwork themselves, and the pay that they're getting cannot even sustain the minimal lifestyle that is basic survival. So if you want to survive, then you need to dedicate your hours to a job that maybe you don't even like, but it gives you a higher pay. Or maybe you need to leave your family and your friends behind in order to explore different opportunities that will provide you with a better pay. Basically, the society that we live in disrupts the harmonious relationships that we have in our lives and that we could build that are way more beneficial than slaving yourself to work a job. If you need to be gone from home for 30 hours or 40 hours plus to clock in at your job, you don't have enough time to spend with yourself. You don't have time to cultivate the relationships that are meaningful to you. You don't have time to rest. You don't have time to take a pause and just freaking breathe. Because God forbid someone wants to breathe, right? So this is what I mean when I say that this society is built on self-sacrifice. We abandon our desires, our needs, our goals, our dreams in order to participate in this world that promises to reward us. But is it really a reward if at the end of the day you come home from work and you're still suffering because you're unhappy, you're depressed, you're alone because you're so burnt out to mend the relationships that are breaking? Is it really worth it at the end of the day? No, that's self-sacrifice. So if you are brave enough to choose yourself in several different ways in this type of world, then I feel like you can live a rewarding life, even if it's not in a grand scheme, because yes, we do need to survive and we need money to survive, unfortunately. It could be in small little ways, and a small step is better than no step at all. So I want to talk about ways that you can choose yourself in this society that is built on self-sacrifice. So let's get into it. Choosing yourself is coming back to self. And coming back to self is taking the time to get to know yourself, taking the time to know your desires and your interests. Like, there's so many people who don't know what they like, right? You ask someone, what do you like to do for fun? Oh, I don't know, I like chilling. What does that chilling look like? Like, what is it? Like, what? Tell me more. So yeah, it's getting to know the details of the things that you love and that you enjoy and that bring you life. And then another good idea is to establish boundaries. Treat yourself the way that you want others to treat you. Respect yourself, respect your boundaries, and others will follow suit. Another way of choosing yourself is saying no to things and people just because you don't feel like it. That's a valid reason, and you don't need to over-explain yourself. So don't do things in order to please other people when in reality, deep down, you could have been doing something else, or you didn't feel like doing it in the first place. Honor yourself. Another one is cutting off people and things, habits, routines that don't elevate you to your highest potential. So people who criticize you, people who bring you down, people who disrespect you, people who don't honor your boundaries, habits and routines that waste your time. It could be doom scrolling. You know what you're doing that is taking away from your life instead of giving to your life. I'm gonna plug a book right now that relates to the topic of breaking habits, which is Atomic Habits by James Clear. So this book talks about how certain habits and routines can hinder you from living the life that you desire, and it gives you the resources and the tools to break these habits. So I think that's a good book. So if you're interested in that, there you go. Another obvious one is leaving a job that you don't like. Obviously, I know in this economy, if you have a job, you are freaking blessed, because it is so hard to find a job these days. If you're not satisfied in the place that you are in right now, don't get comfortable just because it's something that you're used to and the pay is good or whatever. If you're not satisfied, start looking for other opportunities elsewhere that could be beneficial to you, and just apply. Just put yourself out there, because you never know. You can get 85 rejections and the next one will be an acceptance. And as I was saying this, it actually reminded me, I was reading Bell Hooks. She has a book called All About Love, and I was reading a chapter that was talking about doing work that diminishes our self-esteem, and I think that's very relevant to what I'm saying right now about finding something that you're passionate about, even if it means paying less. So I'm just gonna read a little something from the book that I think is relevant to what I'm saying. So this is chapter 4. So she goes to say, most people do not grow up learning that the work we choose to do will have a major impact on our capacity to self-loving. Work occupies much of our time, yet most workers cannot do the work they love. And then she goes to give an example of her own life. She says, when I had a teaching job I hated, the kind of job where you long to be sick so you have an excuse for not going to work, the only way I could ease the severity of my pain was to give my absolute best. This strategy enabled me to live purposely. Doing a job well, even if we do not enjoy what we are doing, means that we live it with a feeling of well-being, our self-esteem intact. That self-esteem aids us when we go in search of a job that can be more fulfilling. Then another part that I want to read. So she was talking about a book that someone else wrote, which is Do What You Love, the Money Will Follow. And she was just saying that we can do what we love and money will not always follow. But then to that point, she says that although this is utterly disappointing, it can also offer us the experiential awareness that doing what you love may be more important than making money. I love that example because I feel like that's so relevant and so realistic. It's not this delusion of, yeah, I'm just gonna quit my job that's paying me well to go do something that I love, even though it's not gonna pay me money, then how am I gonna pay bills, and yada yada yada. It's saying that yes, you can go do what you love, and yes, it might not give you the money that you desire, but what is more important to you? Is it the money, or is it doing something that you actually like? Live a life that is aligned with what you want, your heart, not your mind, but your heart, because we should be living from the heart, okay? Oh my gosh, I love that. Also, another example that I want to mention from the Bell Hooks book is she gives an example where she used to work in a restaurant night hours, and she knew that that wasn't the job for her. She really loved writing, so how she tried to make a balance was during the day, that's the time she dedicated to writing, and then at night she would clock in and do the work that she hated. So I say that to say, even if you're in a job that you don't really love right now, what are some ways that you can balance your life in order to find time to do little things that you enjoy in the meantime before you find something else? Another way of choosing yourself is standing up for yourself. If something is bothering you, speak up for yourself. And I know that can be hard sometimes, especially if you're someone who is more reserved and more quiet and you don't like confrontation. You don't have to be rude about it. You don't have to be rah, rah, rah. You can politely tell someone, listen, I don't appreciate when you said this and this and this because this is how it made me feel. And I would appreciate it if you don't ever say that again. I feel like speaking up for yourself is taking up space. It's really, I'm here and you're gonna respect me. And if you don't want to respect me, take that somewhere else because I'm not gonna allow that. And I feel like that's so powerful. So these are just some of examples that I wanted to share. I'm sure there's so many other examples of ways that you can choose yourself. All in all, you have to learn how to be selfish. Being selfish is not a bad thing always. I think being selfish can be a good thing because you cannot pour from an empty cup. You have to make sure that you're full first. And the only way you can be full is to actually take the time to pour back to yourself. So again, in a society that benefits from you abandoning yourself, I dare you to be brave and choose yourself. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you resonate with this video, please go check out my other videos and consider subscribing if you feel called to. But thank you so much for watching, and mwah.